I did have some questions that came in online. So this one is, what is your stance on the Second Amendment?
This is my favorite.
Ours too.
The Second Amendment is absolute and should never be touched. Our forefathers were brilliant. If you watch me come out of the gate during my congressional race, I came out holding a rifle. Her name is Irene. She's a .308 Winchester. Yes, she's mine, and yes, I can shoot her.
Yay.
She was named after my brother's rifle. He served in the military. He went on, I don't know how many tours, 10 tours or so through the Desert Storm, Iraq, and he kept going back and back. We grew up together. We were only a few months apart. His name is Oliver. His Navajo name that I used to call him was Yeli. It was a little naughty boy. But we played war, and his dad had an old army Jeep in the back, way in the field, and we play and play. We used so much electrical tape to make, grenades, and we made all kinds of stuff. Then he left me right out of high school. His parents signed him, they let him go. And he changed, but he came back, and I saw him as a man, and it was really interesting. But he told me, Second Amendment, we are the most heavily armed people in the world. And for them to infiltrate America would be, a total devastation. But as I start to talk to other military, they're telling me that through the Obama years, when they were bringing in people, we have a border situation in the South, but the Somalis and different people they were bringing in, they call them racist, you guys talk about them, but they were bringing them heavily in big groups. And what they're telling me, the veterans, is that now they're sleepers, millions of them out there. And then now we have the border situation, they're dumping, and no one's really looking at them. But they're not elderly coming in, they're not children, they're young men, fighting age. It's scary. The Second Amendment is absolute. It should never be touched, ever, because we can never guarantee what they're gonna do to us. And as a Native American, I will tell you, the federal government will never guarantee your safety, neither your prosperity. We don't know what's gonna happen in 50 years. We don't know what's gonna come down that pipe. I don't know if we're gonna be fighting a whole different breed of different living beings. I don't know. 50 years, think about it. And if we start legislating because we're scared, because we can't get our society under control, the way they think, the leftists, they push fear. We don't know if we have to have better technology, so why do we want to restrain? They put these adjectives in front of it, assault weapons. What's an assault weapon? I don't know, but I have an assault shoe, and I have an assault fork. I'll reach across that table if I have to. But I'm just saying that the Second Amendment was beautiful, how it's so simply written. The right to bear arms. It doesn't tell us what kind of arms. It went all the way back to when we had arrowheads. It covered that. All the way down to our AR-15s, our AR-10s. Right now we're looking at, we need to really take care of our guns. Now, the criminals will never abide by the laws because that's why they're criminals. So why would they ever disarm us? So they could empower the criminals around us. And as I will tell you again, once they take that Second Amendment, it's over. That's how you conquer a people. The Second Amendment is the only thing that keeps us free, that it says that we are Americans because of our arms. We must hold on to those. And as a governor, I will implore you to get more guns. I will implore all of my administration to carry and open carry. I will implore that our students should have actual lessons and education on firearms. I also want constitutional carry. I want to be able to carry across state lines. I will work with other governors to let our New Mexicans be New Mexican. I want to be the greatest Second Amendment state that ever was, and let every criminal know that if they break into your home, that yes, there are guns in there. And that our homes and our property should be taken care of, especially on the southern border. I am now looking at the castle doctrine for each and every one of you. It means your home is your castle. And if someone enters there, they should already know that this law is in existence. And if you pull that trigger, then God help them. But God bless you, because I will pardon anyone that is protecting their children and their right to live. Amen.
Okay, the next question is, how would you as governor fight for the influx of illegal immigration or we're seeing on our southern border?
I've been down to a little town called Anthony, New Mexico. Great Americans down there, and a lot of them came legally. They worked hard, they paid their dues, it was a lot of money, and they studied. is probably the hardest exam in America, is to actually get your citizenship, which I believe that exam should be applied to every high school student. We should know exactly what our flag stands for and what our Constitution stands for. Now the border down south, as a Native American, I'm gonna tell you, immigration's pretty intense. Once they come, it's hard to readjust, and it breaks my heart, because a lot of people say, well, they're running from bad stuff. Well, yeah, okay, but we have to vet them, because in America, we only want the good ones, the ones that will actually stand up and help us pull the load, not get on the back and make us break our backs for them for free. We don't want them to have free education, because we are trying to educate our children. If they want to do it right, they will come in correctly, and then their children will be able to come with them, and then we can do it properly. As a Navajo, we have a hogan. It's round, and it's that for a reason. It has one door, not 3, 4, 5, 6 doors. One door. You enter in, and you go clockwise in the legal fashion. You sit down and take your place where we tell you to. We will feed you. We'll give you a drink of water, then we'll tell you the rules of the family. If you don't like it, then you get up and you take yourself right back out that door you came in. That's exactly the immigration that we should have. If you want to abide by our rules and pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States, then we will take you. We will love you, and we will teach you. But we do not owe you anything. Before, we have all worked here. Our ancestors have worked here. You know, we have worked the land. We have sacrificed so much. Why should we give it to you for free because you cry? We need to make sure that the Congress, even our senators and our House members that go to DC, know what we want. Because they're not doing anything except shooting photo ops down there. What we're going to do is we're going to close that up. We're going to empower the landowners along the border. We're going to pick up and dust off all of Trump's materials down there, and we're going to finish it. We'll even do a campaign where I will go down there and start welding myself. I will drop some bead and tell Trump that yes, we know what you were doing. And it wasn't because we were racist and we wanted people to stay out. It's because it's rampant. We have drugs, we have child trafficking, we have so many heinous things happening, and we will publicize it. I will bring the media down. If not, I will create my own media if they don't want to follow me in. And we will show them what's down there. It's terrible. There's children being left inside fields. There's backpacks and clothes and underwear. You're wondering what's really happening in there. These caves, we will dig everything out and clean it up. And we need the world to show and let them see, and we will show the world what we're really up against. But we will actually have a better, I think, wall than most of these states. And on the other side, I always talk about the education in Mexico, their history books. They talk about the Navajo, the blade. It wasn't mean thief. People say, oh, it means thief. No, it means the blade. And if New Mexico elects a Navajo for a governor, then Mexico will know you don't send them through that state, you go around to the next state. And that's the message we need to send directly to them. But we will have a wall, a beautiful wall. We'll have an immigration system that's actually very quite elegant. We will vet them, we will make sure, we will take care of them. They'll have the best services when they get here, if they do it correctly. The ones that came here the right way, they need to be rewarded first. The other ones that climb through will be taken back, and they can try again. But there's a right way and a wrong way to do certain things. And our education system is going to be the right way. And using the 10th Amendment as a governor, I can actually whip the federal government into shape, because they need to be parented. Because we've had an immigration crisis since before I was born. I mean, every cycle you see it, immigration, but no one does anything. But we will do something, and that'll probably be one of the greatest projects we finish. Thank you.
Okay, the next question is climate change man-made or not, and what should we do about it?
Nothing.
Climate change. I know they're seeding, they're cloud seeding. I think they're messing with it now because they need to make something happen. I know they're spraying us. You kind of wonder what that is. I want to know. I want to know the truth. As governor, I'm going to mandate. You better tell us what this stuff is, because it doesn't make any sense. But for us, climate change, I think we're in cycles. As a Native American, I will tell you there have been times when it has been so hot, because we have old sheep camps that go up into the mountains, because down in the below is so hot that they actually move their entire family and the flock up the mountain because it gets so hot. And they don't live up there because they have to come down because in the winter it's so cold. Then they talk about cold winter. Then they talk about, the melting ice. It doesn't make any sense because you look at the formations in our mountains, nothing's really changed. You look at some of the different sea levels and they only measure like maybe past 40 years, but they don't go past that because these cycles go in hundreds of years cycles. And so if we survive it, that's great. But I don't think that because of us we're impacting Mother Earth, because I believe wholeheartedly that God gave us an earth that could withstand this. He gave us resources in the ground for us to use. Oil and gas is precious, so is all the minerals in New Mexico. That's why they want it so bad. Oil and gas, they want us to believe is going to actually change the world and make us, go extinct. But oil and gas is not, I don't believe it to be harmful because a road is a controlled oil spill. But where do all the deer go and graze? On the side of the road. And we're not seeing deer coming out with, 6 antlers or an extra leg. It's not cancerous. And all the vegetation, it grows on the side of the road. And Navajos will tell you the most precious thing we look for is some of the tea, the Navajo tea that helped us through COVID. And we couldn't find it anywhere except growing on the side of the highway. And you think about it, well, what are they saying? So Mark Ronchetti, he's talking about climate change and how devastated he is, and he's so scared. I just think he's soft. Honestly, I don't think he can actually handle what's happening here in New Mexico because he talks about them, how MLG suppressed them in his little radio station. I thought, wow, 2 years of suppression, he's freaking out. 150 years, try that one. This is what we're looking at, oil and gas, and I think all these precious elements of what we're looking at. I don't think that we are in climate change. I think we're in cycles. And as a Native American, I will tell you, we moved around because of these cycles, and we already knew it. So when they preach this stuff to us, I think it's just propaganda, and it's a way for them to make money and also put fear in the people.
What are the biggest problems affecting New Mexico cattle, and how do you plan to solve it?
Well, first of all, is the whole Green New Deal. We need to completely wipe that thing out. The Green New Deal, most of it is about, they talk about climate change as we hook into the whole thing. George Soros is dumping a lot of money here, especially in 350.org that's also attached to Ronchetti. But what they're doing is they're going to impact the food supply. They said carbon is what the problem is cow poop, and everybody laughed about it when AOC was talking about it, the farting cows, right? It's crazy, and it's basically just, I think they put a lot of money into electric cars, and the congressional people who invest in it need to get their money back. So they're trying to make the whole United States buy into this whole thing. And at the same time, they're gonna make us buy into their crazy mystery meat. I don't even know what this stuff is, and they're marketing it now. And and I don't want it because anything that they've done chemically or engineered, it's not good for our bodies. And as Native Americans, we will tell you that diabetes has completely ravaged our reservations because all this meat and stuff is now being tested on us. They sell it in our markets. And a lot of the meat that they send in is from New Zealand, so they're also doing contracts outside with different countries. Why can't we just eat American beef? Yes. Why can't we just produce and be able to sustain us? And I think that's what we can do. I want us to actually depend on New Mexico beef, and that's how I'm going to ignite this whole and make this problem go away. Every school, every hospital that's connected to the state is going to have New Mexico agriculture on their menu. Also, we'll give you exemptions and also credit if you're a restaurant and you serve New Mexico beef. Your taxation will be so low, and we want you to serve it in New Mexico agriculture. And I think that's how we're going to do it. But this attack on beef, I think, is part of the whole reset. When you think about it, you read what the leftists are doing. I don't know where these people came from, why their mind is so twisted. How did they get indoctrinated so deeply, and where do they come from? But as a Native American, I will tell you it's wrong. It feels wrong, therefore it must be. And as a praying woman, when God puts you on the trail and you start looking for beef, I'm always checking labels and looking and seeing where I can get this stuff, because you know what? I think they're going to restrict it. And I think they're going to do it because of our health. Again, a sick American is worth more than a healthy one, and a dead one is definitely worth more when they die. And I really believe that, because that's how Native Americans feel. It's how we do it. So once they put us on renal machines and they start pumping out our blood to clean it because we can't, because we're having renal failure, that is basically the game changer. They're medicating us to keep us in the game as long as they can, to make as enough money as they want. But if we are healthy, if we are a healthy people, our medical costs go down. And the sad part is if you get cancer, it's not even if now, it's almost when, because of so much crap in our society. If you get cancer, you will die poor because it's so expensive. But I was told that there's patents on cancer. There's a way to fix it, but they won't give it to us. And that leads us into medical freedom. That's a whole nother question, but that's my answer.